You are now listening to the Role Players Podcast.
It's the Role Players Podcast with none other than Mr. Words of Wisdom B. Yeah, that's me. And then I'm here with the spectacular Coach Extraordinaire, Mr. Philosophical J. I don't know, the nickname has stuck with him for years. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's a fantastic Friday. I got a big coaching game to coach tomorrow.
Okay. What's your record? What's your guys' record? Come on.
Our record is 3-2, and we have clinched a playoff spot.
Dang, that's all it takes.
What? It's still early. We got 4 games left.
Yeah.
We've already clinched.
But you know,
at least the last playoff spot.
I'm out of the little league circuit because I can't get out to the games, unfortunately. But that's good, man. Well, congrats on the playoff spot. If you don't know, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, home of the Role Players, Spreaker, and hey, man, it's several other platforms that you can find us, listen to us. Share this episode with a friend of a friend because we're going to do this thing, this episode, man. It's a big week in the NFL. Last night we had some Thursday night football action. Aaron Rodgers showed up. You know, he came back.
He did show up.
But then it went flat. It went flat in the fourth quarter. They couldn't get in from the goal line. Seems like all night, but it was really just like 2 drives. But they couldn't get in from the goal line, which is rare because a lot of teams just don't get stopped right on the goal line anymore. They get stopped in the red zone, but not the goal line. Eagles now 2-2. They're facing a familiar road. They have a few injuries that has come up on the team. Injuries happens, guys. You know, I'm a Jaguars fan, and we had injuries all last season. It's just a part of the game. Next man up is what I say. So that's how that goes. But congrats on a good Thursday night game. Those Thursday night games, man, they be horrible.
That was an entertaining one.
That was an entertaining one. That's why I say that was a treat last night. But most Thursday night games are bad. You know, they've finally come to the 18-game proposal for the NFL season. And I heard some interesting strategies that they might want to implement to make it work. And one of them was being have your bye week the week before a Thursday night game, and it may increase the quality of the Thursday night game. And then coming off of the Thursday night game, you'll have like a mini bye week because you're going to have 10 days to prepare for your next opponent. That may be possible. A thing that's going to throw a monkey wrench into it is the European games, though, because usually I think you have a bye after you go to Europe, or you have a bye before you go. You have a bye after you go to Europe.
So I would like to see either Friday night games or Saturday night games. But I understand the regulations because college has those days observed. And then high school football has the Fridays observed. I don't know why in the hell they have a special day they can play. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, the Thursday night games, they're not that great.
Yeah.
Last night was great. But maybe you could change the Thursday night games into a neutral location.
I mean, that might be something to consider.
To give like the fans who don't have a NFL team, you know.
I can't see owners signing off on that though because
no, they make money at home games.
They make tons of money on home games, and the fact that they give up one of their home games or one of their games, period, to go and play over in Europe, they're losing money, but they're gaining money from the NFL. I mean, it's not the worst thing, but to play on home soil right here in America and to not play in one of the team's stadiums, that would be a problem for both owners because they would feel jaded somehow. So, but you could test out markets though that you don't have teams.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you woke up this morning, when you laid down last night, because I'm pretty sure you fell asleep on the football game.
I made it through.
Oh,
I was
America
going in and out.
Listeners, this guy normally doesn't make it through. the late night games.
That's a lie.
You rarely do.
Come on, guy.
Come on, man.
Now, I might forfeit on Sunday night. I will. I give you Sunday night, but Monday night, Thursday night, I'm probably making it through those. I get off at night.
Maybe. So, when you woke up this morning, how did you feel about the Green Bay Packers, who were undefeated coming into that game? And supposedly, this was a new Packer team. You had the coach is kind of letting Aaron Rodgers do his own thing. And then you also had a new and improved defense, supposedly. So how do you feel about the Packers?
I feel like, they do have a team this year. I feel like they have a fighting chance in the NFC North. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is not Aaron Rodgers of old. He's old man Aaron Rodgers, but he's getting it done because he looked good last night. I mean, they were throwing that thing to Adams. It was on and popping, man. But they have transitioned into a new era of football. I feel like they can win 9 or 10 games.
That may not be good enough to win, to make the playoffs in the NFC. The NFC is kind of tough. It's really no bottom level teams. Everyone is pretty much the same. Yeah. So what I took from last night's football game, and I think Green Bay is a little overrated. I think Philly is a little overrated. But what I took from last night's game is urgency.
Oh, yeah.
And what I mean by urgency is they want to add 2 more games to the NFL. Supposedly, that's what they always saying. So I took that last night because every week we're gonna say, so this week whoever wins will be like, so who's a team who really need to win? The Carolina Panthers, right?
Yeah.
So if the Carolina Panthers lose, we're gonna say, oh my God, man, this team, they're really, man, this might be it. They're done. But if they win, the headlines will be, oh man, Carolina got a quarterback. So it teeter-tots. So urgency means that every week in the NFL, it's important. Because now Green Bay, last week before last night, they were looking real sexy. They're undefeated. Look at Aaron Rodgers doing. Now people saying, let's just hold on this Green Bay Packer thing. Give it 2-3 more weeks. Which Philly, if they would have lost last night, Philly probably would have been done. Say 3 games out on Dallas. That's pretty tough to overcome.
Yeah. And I mean, that would be tough for them to overcome. But everybody wants, I guess, a little more to give them a chance at getting into the playoffs, to give them a chance at the New Englands and the powerhouses of the divisions. I don't know if that's going to translate to that. I don't know if 18 games would translate to more injuries. I don't know. I do know I love football. And if I get 2 more weeks of football and then you can 2 weeks of that dreadful preseason, for now, I'll say I'm for it.
I don't want it.
I'm for it for right now. But this is the same type of mindset that got us to this silly ass pass interference challenge. Because everybody said, well, man, it needs to be a challengeable play. It's a joke. It's a joke. Everybody's challenging pass interference plays, and I don't know how many has been overturned. There was one overturned, I believe, last night, but that was an official review. That wasn't a coach's challenge. So, I don't know. All change is not good change, but here's a change for you. The NFL is always looking to improve. It's always looking to increase the numbers, whether it's in the pockets or whether it's in the yards. By improving those numbers, whether it's in the pockets or on the yards or whatever, you have to sacrifice some things. You have to change things up. One big change that has probably been overlooked in the NFL, but it's been happening for quite some years. There are no fullbacks, really. There are no fullbacks in the NFL. And it got me thinking last week because I'm a Jaguars fan. And Leonard Fournette, I get on the guy all season. I've been on the guy since we drafted him, really. He had an okay rookie season, but nothing has happened since. I got to thinking, wow, the offensive line really is dreadful. It's not that good. They don't block well for Leonard Fournette. He himself makes it hard on himself, though. He makes bad cuts. He reads the wrong hole. He takes the wrong hole. He tries to be a back that he's not in the NFL. And then it hits me. Well, maybe this wouldn't be as bad if he had just a little more protection, a little more blocking. And that's where the fullback comes into play. According to my research, there's really only 2 fullbacks in the NFL. Do you know who they are, Jay? Where they play, at least?
One has to be Kyle Juszczyk.
The Juice Man.
The Juice Man. He's the highest paid fullback.
What's that dollar? What's that dollar like?
$5.9 million.
Yeah, sure.
That's pretty high for a
Kickers
player.
make more than
For a player that's not often used. So you said there's only another one that's used. That you said that's used, because I'm looking at 5 fullbacks, right? 6 fullbacks right now.
That starts, they play?
They play.
Who are they?
Okay, I said Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah, the Juice Man.
Patrick DeMarco for Buffalo.
Okay, yeah.
Jameez Olawale for Dallas.
Yeah, sure.
Roosevelt Nix. James Devlin.
Devlin.
And
What's the other one?
Zach Line from New Orleans.
Okay, so we know that Dallas fullback and New Orleans fullback really sees little to no time. They may be on the roster.
Okay.
And what they really are special teamers. But Devlin, and I cannot say his name, but Juice.
Houston. Juice Man.
Juice Man. I don't know. Does anybody want to be called the Juice after OJ?
Yeah, if you're a fullback.
Nah, I don't think I want to be called anything Juice.
I'll take the Juice. Juszczyk. Would you rather them keep messing up your name or calling you Juice?
I don't know, man. They might have to learn that name.
The 7th highest paid fullback, which he only makes $930,000. Nick Bellore. Do you know what Nick Bellore is?
I really don't.
He came in the league as a linebacker.
See? You see what I'm saying? And this journey has been happening again for a few seasons. It's not new. It's really not. I kid you not. If you think I'm making this up, fullbacks have gone out of the game. I know Lorenzo Neal was one of the last that held on. Mike Allstott was one of the last notable fullbacks.
Wow.
But, we're talking about at least 10 years now, right?
I see some guys on here who, Derek Watt.
Yeah, that's playing currently.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of these guys are special teamers. They may be used as fullbacks because now what you find are a lot of tight ends that if they go in the backfield, it's more of an H-back situation. But my thing is, would this not change the game of football? A lot of teams want successful running, and only a few teams have guys that successfully run. Now, that's not saying they don't have a running game, but you really only have Zeke. Maybe you could say Melvin Gordon, Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, and those are like your running back heavies in the NFL. Did I miss anyone? Because Le'Veon Bell, I wouldn't give him that category anymore. Leonard Fournette, Derrick Henry, those are dinosaurs. They're more of the old style of running, which the old style of running warranted a fullback, a leading blocker. You needed it. But the game has changed because college has changed.
You think so?
Yeah.
I got a reason why I think fullbacks. But you go ahead.
So, all right. So here's my beef. the game has changed. Everybody wants offensive numbers. Like I said, everybody wants more. They either want more dollars or they want more yardage. Everyone's into the spread offense. Everyone's into having 3 and 4 wide receivers. Everyone's into the athletic tight end that can go out and catch the ball. Everyone's into the misdirection plays. They're into the stretch plays in the backfield. Very few guys run directly up the middle. You have very few guys that are feature backs and they get all of the snaps. Because Leonard Fournette is one of the few. Maybe Henry. Zeke gets most of his snaps. But most of these guys, it's going to be a spread offense. With spread offense, you really don't have the guys and the heavies up front to say, hey, I'm going to run my guy into the back of my guy, into the back of my lineman. And then we're just going to push forward. It's changed in college. You don't even have guys playing in college or even being recruited as fullbacks anymore. According to 24/7 Sports, they only had 4 high school fullbacks listed in the 2020 class. It's high school.
Yeah.
It translates to college, which means these guys are not going to play fullback, which means the list of guys that you gave me in the NFL, you got a bunch of converted. Oh, man. We're watching Sports Center, not top 10, and I guess on some set for Clemson football, they decided to do a chest bump. The guys, the anchors, the sports analysts or whatever, they just didn't clear. They didn't clear. Now we got an old guy falling on the
You know why he failed?
Diamondbacks field.
Because socks are poorly designed.
Socks are poorly designed. If you've never seen Finding Forrester, here's a plug for you. Go and check out Finding Forrester. It's a great movie, Sean Connery. But
Socks are poorly designed.
You have a lot of guys that's not being recruited as fullbacks. Everybody's into the fast-paced, big-time offensive yardage. Because I remember the days of fullbacks when you had work done. And before the show, we were talking about the Buccaneers, how they won their Super Bowl and everything. You had Mike Allstott, Pittman, Warwick Dunn. You had a lot of guys that just ran into the back of the lines and they just plugged away. You don't have that anymore. That's my theory for why the fullback has died. But I'm going to present an option after Jay gives us his theory. I'm going to give you an option of why I think we can go back to it.
I said you got to beat the Pirates, didn't I?
Yeah.
So, so first of all, what do you all call me on the show?
Philosophical Jay.
Okay, I'm finna break some things down to you. So really, Kyle Juszczyk is not a fullback. He's an offensive weapon. That's really his position on the depth chart. An offensive weapon. That is what your new fullbacks need to go to. And the reason being is because it's not because college football is going to the spread. And I mean, that's part of it. But most of all, your fullbacks have to be more mobile and more agile. Just like the big man in basketball. He's now shooting jump shots. So the fullback has to be an offensive weapon. And what I mean by offensive weapon is, look at this play design I got right there for you. So this fullback is you, right? And you're blocking for me.
Well, I got to be the fullback.
Because you're more of a fullback and I'm more of a running back. Would you agree? Okay. So for purposes, when you're on defense and you're one of these defensive guys, right? Me being a coach, I'm finna break it down for you. X's and O's.
Johnny's and Joe's.
That's right. When we give it to be the fullback or the running back, on the defensive side of the ball, we teach you to follow the fullback. The fullback will take you to the football. So that fullback will take you to the football. And we have more faster and agile defensive players. You agree? So we have more faster and agile defensive players. Game. So you watch that fullback and you're guaranteed to make that tackle on that running back. But when that fullback goes off to the edges, in that matter, you know it's a passing play. That's very simple to diagnose. But if you use that fullback as an offensive weapon and he leaks underneath the tackle in the flats as a passing play, as we seen Jimmy G and Juszczyk connect 3 times on Sunday, he now becomes an offensive weapon. So at some point in time, we have to get, what do you think, a tight end? Would you say a tight end is a fullback? That's an extension of a fullback?
It's relative. They're relatives.
They're kind of tweeners between. They're not tough enough to be a fullback, but they're not mobile enough to be a receiver. Correct?
Yeah, but see, that's my thing.
But we have to get a player. We have to get a player who revolutionized the fullback position, just like we did with safeties. Because at one point in time, you had to have the prototype defense was strong safety, free safety. Now we just really say safeties. Yeah. Because you got to be able to cover and you got to be able to come down in the box and tackle. So we're gonna have to come up with a fullback. Someone is gonna have to groom a fullback to be a real offensive weapon. Now I think the 49ers was doing that with Juszczyk, and they kind of got away from it because they've been bringing in a plethora of talent. But every now and then, Juszczyk makes a play.
Yeah, and he does, but
that's like rare for fullbacks, though.
He's an offensive weapon. He's not really a lead blocker. He can block, but he's not really a lead blocker. He's an offensive weapon because you can easily go single back a lot of times and not even use Juszczyk.
The Juice Man.
Juicy J.
I miss fullbacks, man.
I miss fullbacks too.
Because I want my fullback, and Juszczyk does block. I want my fullback to block, catch. You know what, man? I don't know if you remember, but I want you to think back to the old 49er days on the mat when I used to go crazy with Fred Beasley. Remember that? And you'd be like, he catching the ball. He's barely moving.
I used to go crazy with Greg Jones. Greg Jones could not be tackled on Madden. He couldn't. Next to All-Star, the guy just could not be brought down. And I used to cheat my way down the field. You could. Because there was no chance you was going to stop Greg Jones, Fred Taylor, and Maurice Jones-Drew. You just wasn't. But going to this fullback thing again, I get it, man. Like, everything you said is kind of going to go into where I'm headed with this. But these teams don't want to use fullbacks, right? But yet they line up 3 tight ends. You line up 3 tight ends, and like you said, if you watch the fullback, you kind of know where the play is going. Tight end is really an extra lineman. It's not a lead blocker. It's an extra lineman. So
he's a tweener.
You have 8 men on the line, really. That's what you kind of essentially have when you go 3 tight ends, a wide receiver, halfback, quarterback. That gives you your 11. 8 linemen, 3 skill players.
So let me do you like the idea when they put a lineman in there at fullback?
Yeah. No. I don't really like it because you definitely know that it's going to be a running play because you're not doing anything else with that lineman back there.
But that's why you have to have a mobile fullback. It's mostly coaching because you have to you have to deceive the defense. Because just what you're saying it's clearly a run. No, you have to deceive them that it is a pass. But they have to be athletic, tough, as well as able to catch and run. So
here's my thing. People expect running backs to be able to block for the quarterback nowadays, right?
Right. We use Juice to do that.
Yeah, but still, you're expecting a running back of some sort. Because, again, Juice is a modern age weapon, hybrid player, whatever you want to call him. Taysom Hill. Some guys are just football players. That's what Juice Man is. If this is what it's going to be anyway, and it's going to just basically lead to you saying, hey, we want this guy on the field because we can get him touches and he might can make a difference in the game. You know, I'm going to bridge the old school with the new school. You ready You ready to go on this ride with me?
Go ahead.
Because we getting ready to go into the year 3049.
Now I want to know. I know who your best tight end, who you love as tight end growing up. So
who?
Kyle Brady.
Come on, man. Kyle Brady was solid, but he wasn't. He's a Jacksonville Jaguar tight end. Big, might get a few catches, gonna do a lot of blocking. That's what a lot of guys in the NFL are now at the tight end position. You tried to play me and you played yourself. But we're going to the year 3049 and he's gonna hop in this hoopty with me and we're going homeboys and outer space style. We're going future.
What happened to the DeLorean?
Nah, see, that's the year 5000. We're talking about it. Before you can get into the DeLorean that's going into space, we got a hoopty. That was like the boy. I don't know if y'all remember. UPN was so not okay.
UPN was new. That was the new age fullback.
UPN used to do some risky things, buddy. But here we go. So this is going to bridge the old school with the new school. Everyone has multiple backs nowadays, right? And then running backs are expected to block and everything. This is for the coach that wants to rock the NFL. Why don't you just do dual halfbacks? Most teams will not run dual halfbacks. You just won't. Can you imagine if the Saints would have ran, and they did every so often, but if they would have ran Kamara, Ingram, along with the wide receivers, and Drew Brees, you never will know where the play is coming from. You never will know. That's going to give you that offensive speed, those offensive numbers that you want. But at the same time, it's going to give you, hey, we got a blocker. Yeah, they don't do it a lot, though. A lot of times it's Kamara just coming out of the backfield. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm saying more teams need to do the dual halfbacks because look at the Jaguars. I looked up Raquel Armstead. In college, he was listed as a fullback halfback. Why the hell wouldn't you just go ahead and say, I'm going to put him and Lenny back there and see what happens? A few plays. Same goes.
How? What you put him in? I formation?
Yeah, you go I form.
That's horrible.
Look, I'm not saying that it's going to work 100% of the time. I'm saying it's going to rock.
You know,
NFL. And you don't have to go I form. You can go shotgun with two backs.
That's horrible too. That only works one or two plays.
Nah, man.
Yeah, if you sitting there. I'm
telling you.
No,
I'm telling you.
No,
yes,
no
I
way.
am. I'm telling you. You can speak your opinion on it, but if you ran two halfbacks, I'm not saying this has to be your base offense.
Split backfield.
A split backfield.
And then they have three running backs on the field.
They don't do it a lot. What if
49ers does that a ton of time?
That's because y'all are trash. Y'all play like Jacksonville plays and like Buffalo plays because you named them as one of the team. And like New England, it's a traditional style of football. I'm talking about for these teams with the Camaros, with the Gurleys, with the CMCs, with the Leonard Fournettes too, and the Derrick Henrys. A lot of teams with the modern offenses, you're going single backfield most times.
With a running back lined up at wide receiver in the slot.
There you go. You're lining up running backs as receivers and everything. I remember, who is it?
But that's multiple plays open. That's when you get the jet coming back.
What was the Miami coach running the Wildcat?
Sperano.
I was gonna say Spagnuolo, but
Spangola. Not Spagnuolo.
It was like three of them that was similar in names, but Sperano. Yeah, man. He introduced that Wildcat, and I think he could have done something more with it. But if he would have just said, hey, I'm going to take two skilled players, put them in the backfield sometimes. I'm not saying,
He did.
I'm saying if he would have took it the next step further. He didn't have a quarterback. Because what are you going to do? Now the modern age quarterbacks are athletic too. And everybody's into this run-pass option, right?
Right.
If you have a lot more of that going on with true running backs, forget the fullback, forget the tight end that can line up back there.
But running backs can't block.
But they want them to block. They expect
can't,
running
though.
backs to block.
They can't.
But they do. They expect running backs to block. I hear it every Sunday.
Okay.
And so do you. They say, well, he has to get down and get back there and make a block for his quarterback.
Yeah. So the quarterback can get off a pass. But imagine another running back as soft as Leonard Fournette trying to block for Leonard Fournette. Because what are you saying? So you're saying put another running back there and take away the tight end.
You could take away the twin tight ends, the two tight end sets.
The twin tight ends are tougher than two running backs.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
We're talking about a league that likes offensive numbers.
Yes, but
those two tight ends are not going to make anything happen. However, those two running backs, I can throw the ball. I can run the ball. You never know. I can do the run pass. You're not doing a run pass option with a tight end.
But do you understand why tight ends are in there and not because teams?
It's a lineman.
Yeah, because teams have not found a consistent, tough enough fullback to put there.
I wouldn't say they didn't find a tough enough fullback.
Yes, because
coaching and the game has changed.
Okay, that too. But you got to have a tough fullback to block and get off these jet sweeps and these multiple sets. So, what did you say earlier about fullback, about running back off there?
They'll never get paid.
Why?
They're not important.
So, other than a fullback, and we both know who's the highest paid fullback is. That's Juice. And Juice has, how much value does he have in San Fran? Just looking at the fan experience. You're not the 49ers fan. So you don't know how important it is for him to be out on the field. But looking at the outside, before we had a plethora of talent, how important was Juice?
I could scrap him and start another 11 guys. It doesn't matter.
Another 11 guys, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have plays for that guy.
But you have plays for running backs.
But you have plays for running backs. And you have plays for tight ends because Kittle and Selleck was the backup tight end. We had another tight end. Those guys were actually capable of catching the ball and moving it down the field. Yeah. Juice really is the toughest man other than that offensive line because he's tougher than the tight ends.
Yeah,
he'll block.
You got to give it a different look, man. I think the coach that comes in, I'm not saying that's going to be the best. I think
you're playing Tecmo Bowl, man.
No, I'm not playing Tecmo Bowl. I'm playing Byron Bowl.
Okay, put him in on Madden and see how long he lasts.
I bet it's a video game. I could work that out on Madden.
Your quarterback would be getting sacked, brother.
My quarterbacks do not get sacked because I have a good offensive line.
Turn it off a rookie, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, guy.
Get on my level. Doug Marrone is easily a 4 or 5 time Super Bowl champ now.
On rookie?
You couldn't see me in your dreams, kid. You might be philosophical and you may be the coach, but when them sticks is in your hand, you ain't close to it. You ain't close to it. Here you go your gimmick style, man. Here go your gimmick style.
Here you go.
Here go your gimmick style.
Here you go. I got a challenge.
Roll out.
I got a challenge. It ain't no gimmick style.
Who build a Belichick team to knock off your team though?
It took you what, 7 years, 7 fantasy seasons?
No, it wasn't 7 years.
At least 5.
I knew exactly how you played.
At least 5.
I know exactly. You're not gonna make too many adjustments, bro.
At least 5.
You're not gonna make adjustments.
But at least 5. Right?
If you want to say it's 5, sure, I'll go with it. It still goes down the path of. It takes a while to build a dynasty.
So who was your defensive end by this time?
I don't know his name. I remember
exactly
his measurables.
Yeah. So tell the people listening what his measurables were.
I had a Calais Campbell before Calais Campbell.
Okay, then tell me what it was, because before that happened, that wasn't even possible on the football field.
But who saw into the future? Didn't I just tell you, homeboys from outer space? Bro.
Man.
Yes, bro.
Here you go.
Nah, because I know I can see when the game is changing, bro. I see it. I'm telling
Okay.
you. Now, if the game changes to where a lot of teams start running a lot more split backs and running multiple plays in the NFL, where it's like, well, look, we're going to run 2 running backs because it gives us a different look, especially in the NFL.
The 49ers, that's the whole goal between them having
You don't have a lot of good receivers.
Jet, Coleman, and Breida.
No, I hear you.
That's what their plans are.
And then you have Shanahan. So
But it doesn't work.
It doesn't work with that. But if you had the main key guy, because y'all don't have that guy. Y'all don't have that running back. Y'all have running backs. Not hating on it, but you don't have that dynamic running back where it's like, oh, he can explode any moment. Nah, these teams that had, like when we had Fred Taylor and Jones Drew, those are dynamic running backs. If we were going to go out anyway and say it's David Rod, Jones Drew, Fred Taylor, just go ahead, do a lot more split backfields, and then they won't see where it's coming from as much.
But split backfields, that's you don't have listen.
It gives you
I know
a
what you're
different
saying,
look,
but
man.
you don't have
It gives
that,
you a different look.
You don't have that lead blocker, bro. I'm just telling you that lead blocker is not you now what you'll be doing, you're going to be motioning your tight end all the time. Are you going to be playing a bunch of jumbo sets football?
They do that anyway.
Teams really don't run jumbo as much as you do.
Nah, they don't run jumbo a lot, but you do have teams that
jumbo.
run 2 tight ends.
Those are the less talented teams.
If you say so.
I'm telling you, man.
Like I say, everybody's not going to have a Kamara or a Christian McCaffrey because that's what everyone hopes to have. But the reality of it is you may have a Derrick Henry. You may have a Leonard Fournette. You may have a Breida. You may have a Cohen because Cohen ain't CMC. He's not Kamara. You're going to have more than just this guy getting the ball and you're thinking he's going to make a play. Because Christian McCaffrey and Kamara has excellent, superb, outstanding vision. If you had that leading blocker or if you had someone to take the heat off of your guy back there, sometimes, Jay, sometimes. I'm not saying this is your base package offense. Man, you don't know.
And I foresee a lot of things happening.
If you had me,
I foresee
you wouldn't be 3-2. You'd be 5-0.
I see. No way, man.
Oh man,
no way.
Sign me up.
Hey, you got to find time, brother.
Yeah, I barely find time to do this podcast.
Me
Yet
too.
Here we are.
I make time.
I make time, but I don't have enough time to come out and coach all week. That's a sure thing.
Well, you can't be a weekend coach. Ask Belichick.
Nah, you gotta live it. You gotta breathe it. You gotta eat it. Well,
and I do live and breathe and eat it, as you know.
Yeah, you do.
It's a year job. It's yearly, not just 3 months out the year.
Hey man, if you're listening to this podcast and you think that the split backs or the dual backfield could be something of the future or something that teams should explore, drop us a line on social media, man. Make a comment, make a post or something. Let us know. And if you think I sound like some wacko up here, along with the coach, Mr. Philosophical J, drop that line too. I want to hear it. I definitely want to hear that feedback.
You're not a wacko, but your offense would clearly be 25th or worse.
I'm not saying that I'm not passing the ball either, though.
I didn't say you're not going to pass the ball. I'm just saying your rushing game is not going to be aware. You're not going to have the blockers.
My offense is not going to be 25th because we have Freddie Kitchens going for 4th and 9s. I'm going to top 7 other. I'm going to top 7 other offenses.
You hope so.
No, I will. Right here from my armchair.
You see, look how they're aligned. So take one of those other guys.
So we're watching Virginia Tech and Duke.
Take one of those other guys and put him beside the quarterback.
Put him beside the quarterback. And look at this play. Look at this play. Look at this play. If he'd have had somebody else coming out from the other side on that pass play.
Who's going to block?
He doesn't have to block. You could have sent him out in the receiving game.
Somebody has to block, man.
Nobody was really blocking on that play.
Let me tell you, man. Listen, man.
But yeah,
when you have 6 or 7 guys,
I'm not going to stunt.
That's right, man. When you have 6 or 7 guys coming at you to your 5 or 4 blockers.
A lot of teams do not do that though. They send out the running back as a receiver. After Christian McCaffrey.
After he chips, man, he's chipping.
Okay, that guy was not chipping. He was in the backfield blocking.
He was because you have to have some block, man, when you're in the shotgun.
Okay, so if he had that extra receiver going out there instead of now, we know a lot of teams don't really have like 3, 4, 5 receivers.
You want to play with 12 men on the field? I can see you now. Mr. Ref, I had 11 out there. What are you talking about?
12 men on the field. 12 men on the field. Be like, man, who's counting? Who's counting?
Count them up.
See me on the sideline, I'll be like, hey, yeah. You got to count, son. You got to count. Man, whatever. You can play all you want. I'm telling you.
I told you his offense was very explosive. He has a great brain, but I told you, man, that coach Byron Williams, that was a risky hire.
Let's look at how many 12 men on the field penalties he has. You know, he's actually ran 5 plays like that, and they didn't catch it.
Chip Kelly likes running 2 running backs with no blockers.
Not on compare me to Chip Kelly, because I didn't say that's going to be my offense all the time.
I'm just saying, dog.
You a hater, man. This is it for this episode of The Role Players. If you like this episode, share it, tweet it, Instagram it, whatever you do, YouTube it, man. Put us out there. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, home of The Role Players, Spreaker, and several other role player platforms as far as podcasting goes. So check us out. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about a friend, which is a role player, and that's me and Mr. Philosophical J. We are the last of the Mohicans, and we're holding it down. You held it down with us, and we always appreciate that. Drop us a line about those fullbacks on either Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Tell me that I'm crazy. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. So go ahead and drop that blurb to us. We have a spectacular pick'em show ahead for you. Do not miss that. This is Role Players over and out.